Let me tell you a story that might sound familiar. Picture this scene from last weekend. You walk into a coffee shop, and as you approach the counter, you trip slightly over absolutely nothing. A few people glance your way. Suddenly, your face turns red, your heart starts pounding, and that voice in your head starts screaming, "Everyone thinks I'm a complete idiot. They're all judging me. I can never come back here again." Sound relatable? Here's the thing that might blow your mind. Those people probably forgot about your stumble before you even ordered your drink. Yet you might spend the entire weekend replaying that moment, creating elaborate stories about what strangers think of you. Welcome to the exhausting world of caring way too much about other people's opinions. Today, we're going to completely rewire how you think about this problem. And I guarantee the solution isn't what you expect. But first, subscribe to our channel. First, let's get one thing straight. The fantasy of not caring what anyone thinks is just that, a fantasy. You know that dream we all have where we're completely immune to criticism, where insults bounce off us like we're wearing some kind of social armor? That's not actually the goal here. And frankly, it would make you a pretty terrible human being. Think about it this way. Caring about others is literally what makes us human. It's why we feel empathy when someone's hurting, why we celebrate when our friends succeed, why we form meaningful relationships. If you truly stopped caring what everyone thought, you'd lose your ability to connect, to love, to be part of something bigger than yourself. So when people ask me how to stop caring what others think, I actually translate that question. What they're really asking is, how do I manage what other people think in a way that doesn't destroy my mental health? Now that's a question worth answering. To understand why this is such a struggle, we need to take a trip back in time. Not to your awkward middle school years, but way back to when our ancestors were living in small tribes of maybe 30 to 100 people. These weren't casual Facebook friend groups. These were tight-knit survival units where every relationship literally meant the difference between life and death. If someone in the tribe was wasting food, making noise when predators were nearby, or just being generally unreliable, the other tribe members would get fed up pretty quickly. And if they kicked that person out, game over. Humans cannot survive alone in the wild for very long. This is why our brains evolved to treat social rejection like a physical threat. When someone doesn't text you back, when you don't get invited to that party, when your joke falls flat in a group conversation, your nervous system responds as if you're in actual danger. That crushing feeling of rejection you experienced when someone turned down your invitation to prom, your brain processed that the same way it would process a car accident. But here's what's amazing about modern life. You get to choose your tribe. You can change tribes. If one group rejects you, you can find another group that actually appreciates who you are. This brings me to the real problem most people face. You can never completely stop seeking social validation. That's hardwired into your DNA. But you can absolutely change which people you seek that validation from. Most people who struggle with caring too much about others' opinions have surrounded themselves with the wrong people. They're desperately trying to win approval from individuals who don't share their values, don't respect them, and frankly aren't worth impressing in the first place. Instead of trying to stop caring what people think, start being more selective about which people's opinions actually matter. Surround yourself with individuals you genuinely admire, people who challenge you to grow, people who see your authentic self and appreciate it. But here's where it gets interesting, and this might be the harsh truth you need to hear. If you care too much what other people think, it's probably because you don't have something more important to care about. Let me give you a thought experiment. Imagine you're walking down the street and you see a building on fire. You realize there's a child trapped inside and you're the only person who knows. Now, as you start running toward that building to save the kid, people on the street start shouting, "What are you doing? That's crazy. You're going to get yourself killed." Would their opinions stop you? Of course not. You wouldn't give their comments a second thought because something infinitely more important is at stake, a human life. When you come out of that building, whether you succeeded or failed, you still wouldn't care what those people think. The child's safety matters more than social validation, more than embarrassment, more than approval or disapproval. This same principle applies throughout your entire life, just usually in less dramatic ways. You will stop caring what other people think when you have something more important to care about. When you believe in something so deeply that you're willing to be ridiculed for it. When you're pursuing something so meaningful that losing a few friends or neighbors' respect is a price you're willing to pay. The irony, that's exactly when people start respecting you the most. But I know what you're thinking. That sounds great in theory, But what about day-to-day situations? What about when I'm at work or on a date or meeting new people? Here's where we need to understand the deeper psychology at play. Our need to be liked stems from three basic human drives: our need for control, our need for acceptance, and our need for consistency. We try to control other people's opinions through people-pleasing because it makes us feel like we have some influence over how we're perceived. We crave acceptance because evolution taught us that being liked by the group meant survival. And we want consistency because predictable social interactions feel safer than unpredictable ones. But here's what modern society has done to us. It's convinced us that our worth depends entirely on external validation. Social media shows us curated highlight reels. The news focuses on status and appearance. We're constantly bombarded with messages that what other people think of us is the most important thing in the world. This is where we need to completely flip our perspective. Instead of asking, how can I get this person to like me? Start asking, how can I serve this person? How can I add value to their life? How can I make their day a little bit better? When you shift from seeking significance to providing service, something magical happens. You stop being so focused on yourself and start focusing on others in a genuinely helpful way. And paradoxically, this is when people are most drawn to you. Think about the people you admire most. I guarantee they share one common trait. They're not desperately seeking approval from everyone around them. They're focused on something bigger than themselves, whether that's their work, their family, their art, or their mission to help others. Here's another perspective shift that changed everything for me. Realizing how insignificant most of our problems really are in the grand scheme of things. You are one person in one town in one country, on one planet in one galaxy among trillions of galaxies. When you truly internalize this perspective, it becomes almost impossible to get worked up about whether someone liked your presentation or thought your outfit was weird. This isn't about becoming nihilistic or thinking nothing matters. It's about gaining proper perspective on what actually deserves your mental and emotional energy. Most of the things we worry about won't matter in a week, let alone a year or a decade. The stranger who saw you trip in the coffee shop has probably already forgotten about it. The person who didn't laugh at your joke is dealing with their own insecurities and problems. The coworker who seemed unimpressed with your idea is too busy worrying about their own performance to spend much time judging yours. Here's a practical exercise that works incredibly well. The next time you catch yourself obsessing over what someone thinks of you, ask yourself this question. How much time did I spend yesterday thinking about other people's embarrassing moments or failures? Probably not much, right? You were too busy dealing with your own life, your own challenges, your own goals. Well, guess what? Everyone else is doing exactly the same thing. They're not sitting around analyzing your every move because they're too busy analyzing their own. This realization is both humbling and liberating. Humbling because it reminds you that you're not the center of everyone else's universe. Liberating because it means you're free to be yourself without the constant fear of judgment. But what about legitimate feedback? What about constructive criticism from people who actually matter? This is where discernment becomes crucial. There's a big difference between caring what everyone thinks and caring what the right people think. Your mentor's feedback on your work, that matters. Your best friend's concern about your well-being, that matters. Your romantic partner's feelings about your behavior, that matters. The random person on the internet who doesn't like your shirt, that doesn't matter at all. Learning to distinguish between valuable feedback and meaningless noise is one of the most important skills you can develop. Not all opinions are created equal, and you get to decide which ones deserve your attention. When you know who you are, when you're clear on your values, when you're pursuing something meaningful, other people's approval becomes a bonus rather than a requirement. You can appreciate it when it comes, but you don't fall apart when it doesn't. This kind of inner confidence is magnetic. People are naturally drawn to individuals who are comfortable in their own skin, who aren't constantly seeking approval, who seem genuinely content with who they are. So how do you actually build this kind of self-assurance? It starts with spending time figuring out who you really are underneath all the social conditioning and expectations. What do you actually believe? What do you actually want? What kind of person do you actually want to be? This requires honest self-reflection. Maybe through journaling, meditation, therapy, or deep conversations with trusted friends, you need to separate your authentic voice from all the other voices telling you who you should be. It also requires accepting that you can't please everyone. And that's not just okay, It's necessary. If you try to be everything to everyone, you end up being nothing to anyone, including yourself. The most successful, fulfilled people in the world have learned to disappoint some people in service of their authentic selves and their true priorities. They've made peace with the fact that not everyone will like them, understand them, or approve of their choices. And here's the beautiful thing. When you stop trying so hard to be liked by everyone, you become much more likable to the people who actually matter. Authenticity is incredibly attractive because it's so rare. Remember, the goal isn't to become a selfish person who doesn't care about anyone else's feelings. The goal is to become someone who cares about the right things for the right reasons. Someone who can receive feedback without being destroyed by it. Someone who can give their gifts to the world without needing constant reassurance that those gifts are wanted. This is how you stop caring what other people think, by caring deeply about something more important than their approval. Find your mission, your values, your authentic self, and let those guide your decisions instead of the fear of judgment. When you do this, you'll discover something amazing. The opinions that matter will still reach you, but they won't control you. And the opinions that don't matter will simply bounce off like rain on a windshield. You'll finally be free to be exactly who you're meant to be. If you got value from this video, like it and subscribe to our channel.